All right, guys, coming at you on a beautiful Saturday for one reason and one reason only. I feel a little thing called hope today. So I just got finished reading an article about what went down in Minnesota in this legislative session, and I had to share it with you immediately. I could not wait until Monday. So here's what Minnesota Democrats got done with a one-seat majority, by the way. One seat. Okay. Universal free school meals. By the way, let me pause. That alone is like, celebration time. That is a huge, huge deal. Do you have any idea how many people are going to be positively impacted as a result of something like that? So we got universal school meals. They legalized weed. They did carbon-free electricity. So it's already about 29% of the Minnesota grid, which, by the way, is the highest percentage of anything. But now they're saying it's going to be 100% mandated by law by 2040. That's phenomenal. They did tax rebates for the working class up to $1,300 for families making less than $150,000 a year. So basically just cash directly in the pockets of working class families. They did paid family leave up to 12 weeks. Phenomenal. I mean, this should be a national policy. It's a no-brainer. They also did paid sick leave up to 12 weeks. Right now, to put this into perspective for you, how big of a deal this is, up to 75% of the population of Minnesota does not have paid sick leave. Huge, huge, huge deal. They banned conversion therapy, which of course is when they try to force gay people to not be gay anymore, which is not a thing. That has never happened once in human history. You love who you love, you like who you like. That's how it is. They ban that practice because of course it's coercive and manipulative, and it's done basically by fundamentalist Christians who are just hoping it's possible to wish people out of being gay because it fits their religious ideology. They protected trans rights by shielding patients and providers from lawsuits from other states. So a lot of the red states right now are cracking down on trans people. Not just kids, by the way, they're also going after trans adults. And this makes it so that it's kind of like a safe haven state for trans people where they're protected by the law if they're in Minnesota. They also did red flag laws for guns. That's phenomenal. That's a no-brainer. If somebody's acting crazy and saying stuff like, I'm going to kill people, it should be legally possible to make sure they don't have their guns. They also did universal background checks for guns, another no-brainer. Automatic voter registration, that's another one, which is, again, should already be the case in the United States. It should have been the case decades and decades and decades ago, and we don't have it, but now Minnesota is leading the way. We have free public college for families that make $80,000 a year or less. We have a ban on PFAs, which are also known as basically the forever chemicals that are in a whole bunch of stuff these days. We have $2.2 billion increase in K-12 school funding. Phenomenal. Going to hire more teachers, probably going to pay them more, all that good stuff. We also have sectoral bargaining for people who work at nursing homes, which is absolutely necessary because those workers are abused and exploited and underpaid. Guys, this is everything that got done. I want to reiterate this with a one-seat majority. So basically, we have Minnesota Democrats reviving the ghost of FDR here and showing you that politics can really, really make a difference in people's lives. And again, this is something I probably haven't been this excited reading an article about something since Bernie Sanders' first launch back in 2016. This is like a reminder. It should light a fire under your ass to realize that all the people who are doomers, all the people who are nihilists, all the people who act like nothing's ever going to change ever, and, both parties are equally bad or whatever, fundamentally, factually inaccurate. In some cases, sure, but here we have proof positive of the opposite point, which is, sometimes these Midwestern Democrats deliver. There's that meme that's been floating around. You guys, I'm sure you've seen it. It's like Northeastern Democrats with a supermajority, and then it shows a picture of the Clintons. And then it says Midwestern Democrats with a one-vote majority, and it shows a picture of, like, Lenin. I mean, look, that's kind of what we're looking at here, right? So the only bad news I have to deliver for you is this. And this shows you the power of capital more than anything. It shows you the power of massive corporations more than anything. So another bill that they passed was to basically force Uber and Lyft to pay their drivers a living wage. Because right now, they actually make less than a living wage, and obviously they, make their money off of tips. And so it got to the governor's desk. He was going to sign it. And then what happened is Uber and Lyft were like, if you sign this, we are pulling out of the state of Minnesota. So it basically forced his hand to not sign it. Now, if he did sign it, that would have been a political disaster because so many people use Uber, so many people use Lyft, but of course you want to look out for the workers. So again, they kind of forced his hand to do this. My guess is you're going to have Tim Walz, based on his record to this point, and these other Midwestern Democrats, based on their record, my guess is they're going to basically try to find a way to outmaneuver Uber and Lyft moving forward to try to find a way to pay those workers more. My guess is you would need to get in some sort of a compact with like 6 or 7 other states and make it so that all of these states at the same time sign a bill mandating a living wage for these workers. And if you have those kinds of numbers on your side, then I don't think Uber and Lyft can afford really to pull out of like 6 or 7 states. But apparently they can afford to pull out of 1 state, which is why they flexed on Tim Walz this time. But again, that shows you basically how nefarious capital can be and how nefarious corporations can be. But look, I don't want that to leave the bitter taste in your mouth here, because when you look at all the news in its totality, this is phenomenal stuff. And Tim Walz is doing an incredible job. And Midwestern Democrats in Minnesota, are doing an incredible job. So thank you to them for giving us hope, which is something we almost never have on the left. And of course, this is why I'm recording a video for you guys on a beautiful Saturday here. Look at that sky, man. Just a gorgeous day. And this definitely makes the day even better.